What's up, my recovery family? Hope you're all doing fantastic today. Welcome to the Your Recovery Mentor channel. Do me a favor, if you get a chance, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, click that little notification bell so you can be notified every time I drop a new video, and please share. My whole goal with this channel is to create a big community of everyone in recovery so that you have a place where you can feel a part of and have people that you can interact with in the comment section. And let's try to keep everything positive in the comment section. All right, I know some of you are in different places than other people. I get it. Some are sicker than others, yada yada, whatever. But let's try to keep it positive. We're all here for the same reason. We're here to better ourselves, better our lives, increase our chance of success of making it in recovery long term, so that we can achieve all of our goals and aspirations that we have for ourselves. That being said, I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret, all right, that got me to where I'm at today. So my clean date / sober date is November 1st, 2013. So I have a little over 8 years of continuous sobriety / clean time. And I use both words out of respect to both AA and NA. Use whatever words you like, whatever one you're comfortable with. Frankly, it doesn't really matter to me. I prefer to say that I'm in recovery rather than clean or sober, because if you watch my previous videos, you know my take on that. Saying you're clean simply means that you're not using drugs, and saying you're sober simply means that you're not drinking anymore. Saying you're in recovery means you're living a different lifestyle. But that's just my take. That's just my opinion. So what is that secret? What's the secret to putting together years of continuous sobriety and clean time and living in recovery? Here it is. Okay, you ready for it? Stop trying to do everything yourself. Stop acting like you have all the answers. All right, go into this thing we call recovery with an empty mind. Forget it all. Forget everything. Just pretend like you're a freaking newborn child and you're trying to learn how to live life again for the first time. Don't go into this thing we call recovery. Don't go into it thinking that you know what you should be doing, or you have all the answers, or I don't need to be here because I've got this thing all figured out. That is the worst thing that you can do. The best thing you can do is stay open-minded and be willing to try new things and step outside of your comfort zone. That's how you grow. That's how you get multiple years under your belt. That's how you get the life that you've always dreamed of and the life that you've always wanted. Is you stay like a sponge, ready to absorb any and all information thrown your way. Now, I'm not saying that everyone's always going to give you the right answer. Hell, sometimes you might disagree with something I tell you, and that's perfectly okay. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with you going to someone else and looking for additional perspective on something that I may say. And they may tell you that I'm dead ass wrong. That's okay. All right, I don't have to be right on everything. The only thing I'm doing right now is basically I'm sharing the knowledge and wisdom that I've picked up over the last 8+ years with you. And that's why there's so many of these videos, because it takes a long time to divulge 8+ years of information. But the one thing I can tell you, the biggest secret out there, is go into recovery with a blank slate. Now, you may have picked some things up in some clean time that you had here and there, and then you relapsed, then you were clean for a little bit, and then you relapsed, then you were clean, maybe put together a couple months, then you relapsed. All those times that you were clean and sober, that still counts. You still learned something during those times. So you can maintain that information, because one way or another, you can learn from that, good or bad. But what I'm saying is, don't pretend that you have all the answers. Don't pretend you know better than someone with more time than you, because chances are they've probably been through things that you have yet to have gone through while in recovery, and they can give you some very good insight on how to deal with life on life's terms without using a substance. So stop pretending like you know it all. I used to, I remember early on in my recovery while I was still in treatment, I used to challenge my therapist all the time. And I had a very nice lady as a therapist, very smart, very good at what she did. And she would tell me that, Josh, you don't know how to be in a healthy relationship. And I would tell her, you're full of shit. I've been in a relationship nonstop for the last God knows how many years of my life. I know how to get into a relationship. I know how to be in a relationship. But she would say, okay, that may be true, but you don't know how to be in a healthy relationship. I was like, okay, you don't know what you're talking about. But I got to the point to where I was at least open-minded enough to hear what she had to say, and I had at least enough willingness to give her advice and suggestion a try. And that's all I'm asking you to do right now, is when someone gives you a suggestion, when someone gives you some advice, when someone says, hey, maybe try to do things this way instead of that way, give it a shot. Even if it makes you super uncomfortable, even if you think that it's the wrong answer and that's not how you should be doing things, what do you got to lose? Give it a shot, because they probably, more than likely, know better than you. They either have more time than you, or more education than you, or more wisdom than you, and they've been there and they've done that. And like I said, what do you got to lose if between listening to them and not listening to them? And then take what they tell you, and here's the second secret, okay? Take that knowledge, take that information, take that suggestion, and apply it to your life. That means put it into action. Actually take what they tell you and do it. Don't just sit there and listen, nod your head, smile, and agree, okay, yeah, you're probably right. I should probably do this, or I should probably do that. No, don't stop there. Take what they tell you and then figure out how to apply it to your life. That is the most important thing that you can do. I have worked with, I don't even know how many sponsees at this point in time in my life. The ones that don't know how to apply what they've learned never make it. They just can't stay clean and sober. They're destined to relapse, unfortunately. I've shared this story before. I don't know if I've ever shared any of these videos, but I will never forget this one individual. So I had this sponsee, and I keep everything confidential, so I'm not going to share his name or anything like that. But I had this sponsee that I worked with, and I worked with him multiple times, and he just couldn't stay clean and sober. He just couldn't get it. And we've worked through the steps. I mean, this was a brilliant, brilliant young man. He memorized all the readings at the meetings. He basically memorized the first half of the big book. I mean, this guy was incredibly smart. But he just couldn't stay clean and sober. He would still continue to relapse over and over again. I've even worked through the whole freaking 12 steps with him. He did every single assignment, everything I asked him to do. But what he couldn't do is figure out how to take that knowledge and apply it to his life so that he could start to live his life in a different manner. And that's why he will still never achieve long-term recovery. Until that light switch turns on, until he figures out how to take the information that's being given to him and apply it to his life, he's never going to get it. He's either going to end up dead, which he may be already. I haven't spoken to him in a couple years. And the last time that I spoke to him, he was homeless again. So he may be dead. He's going to get either that, or he's going to end up in jail. He's going to end up in prison, or he's going to still be homeless. Because he just can't get his shit together, because he can't figure out how to take the information and apply it to his life. That's really what it comes down to, is follow suggestion from those who know better than you. Stay open-minded, stay willing, stay honest with yourself, practice humility on a daily basis, and be of service. If you can do those things, you have an excellent chance at staying in recovery long term. If you can't, then here's the cold, hard, honest truth. You might put some time together, but it's only a matter of time before you relapse. I hate to say it, not to sound like a dick, not to be cold-hearted or anything like that, but that's the truth. If you can't stay open-minded and willing and honest with yourself, and practice humility so that your ego doesn't get out of control, and practice caring about others more than you care about yourself to defeat that character defect of selfishness and self-centeredness, then you're destined for relapse. It's just a matter of time. The good news is, if you haven't relapsed yet, there's still time to change your ways. There's still time to fix what is broken. And what's broken right now is stuck dead center between both of your ears. It's your brain. It's the way that you think. It's the way that you perceive. If we can work on that and change the way you think and the way that you perceive and change that to a more positive manner, a more positive direction, then you have a good chance at staying in long-term recovery. But if we can't change the way you think, if you're stuck in your ways, if you're isolating, if you're not opening up, if you're not becoming vulnerable, if you're not working with a therapist, psychologist, or psychiatrist on any trauma that you've been through before, if you're not doing those things, then it is just a matter of time before you relapse. Now, I don't want you to hear this and be like, well, then fuck it, I'm gonna go get high. That's not the point of this message. The point of this message is to point out what you need to do to be successful in recovery. And this is a very simple program for very complicated people. That's really what it comes down to. The program in itself isn't that hard to do. It's not that hard to follow. It's not that hard to comprehend and understand. What's difficult, what's complicated is ourselves. We make it complicated. We turn mountains, turn molehills into mountains. We overcomplicate things. And sometimes we do that subconsciously, sometimes we do that consciously, but most of the time we do that on purpose to make things seem worse than they appear, because then it gives us an excuse, it gives us an out, it gives us a way to justify and rationalize taking another hit or another drink. And we're really, really good at manipulating ourselves. I tell people that I work with all the time, we've learned how to manipulate people. It was just something that we had to do to survive in this game, that we play called addiction and alcoholism. We learn how to manipulate people. We learn how to take advantage of people. But the person that we manipulate the most and take advantage of the most is ourselves. That's what it comes down to, is we got to stop manipulating ourselves. We got to start being honest with ourselves. Stop the bullshit. All right, that's why this used to be called the No BS Recovery Channel. Because you got to stop the BS. You got to stop feeding yourself the lies and believing them and co-signing them. And then finding people that will co-sign them with you so that you can have another person to rationalize and justify your negative behaviors. Now start with your negative thoughts and negative perceptions. You got to stay in the positive. I said in the last video I just did that, you have to have an attitude of gratitude, which is cheesy as F. I get it. It sounds really corny, but it's true. If you can stay with this idea of I should be grateful for everything that I have, regardless of what it is, then that's going to put you in a more positive mindset. One of my favorite sayings that I follow is, be grateful for all that you have, but strive for more. Never settle. And I still believe that to this day, because I don't believe you should settle. When people get into relationships in early recovery, they're settling. They're settling so that they can find some type of value within themselves, because they're not at that point in time yet to where they find the value from within on their own. They need someone else to give them that value. That's why there's so many people that get into relationships in early recovery. It's seeking that outside validation as opposed to learning how to develop inner validation, which takes time. Something that we hate to hear. Anything that takes time is our enemy, because we are lovers of instant gratification. If it can be done now, if it can be done today, then that's what we're going to choose. If I told you right now, I'll give you $100,000 today, or I'll give you $1 million in 2 years, 99% of you are going to say, give me the $100,000 today, as opposed to waiting 2 years for $1 million. Because we want that instant gratification, and we have to stop that way of thinking. We have to understand that it is way more valuable, way worth putting in the effort for something that may take a little bit longer, but is going to give much better results. We have to learn to be patient. We have to learn to wait. We have to learn that good things come in time. They don't come overnight. Right, it says in the Big Book, one of the promises of the Big Book is that you will have a life beyond your wildest dreams. I can testify to that is 100% true. Because if you were to ask me 8+ years ago, before I went into treatment for that last time, what would my life look like today? If you said, Josh, 8.5 years from now, what do you picture your life being like? What is it going to look like? I would have sold myself short by a mile, because my life today is better than I ever thought it could be. I never thought in a million years that I could have the life that I have today. And I have the life I have today because of some amazing people that were put in my life, that gave me guidance, that gave me direction, that gave me suggestion. But it was up to me at the end of the day. The ball was in my court. It was up to me on whether or not I was going to follow their direction and suggestion. I had to put in the work. I had to put in the effort. You know, it says in the Bible, faith without works is dead. All right, that means you can have all the faith in the world, but if you're not willing to put in the work, that doesn't mean nothing. You still got to put in the footwork. You still got to do the work. I'm a big believer in having a higher power. All right, and I don't care what higher power you have. I ain't here to convert no one. In fact, the book says that this is a spiritual, not religious program. You know, I'm not a big fan of religion. To me, religion's man-made. To me, spirituality is a relationship with the power greater than yourself. And whatever that power is for you to decide. But the people that I see making it, the people that I see actually achieving long-term recovery, have a higher power. A power greater than themselves that they can lean on when they have no one else to turn to. And so if you're not open to that idea, that's your decision to make. Like I said, I'm not here to convert no one to nothing. I don't care. You can be Jewish, you can be Christian, you could be practicing Islam, you could be practicing Hinduism. Do whatever you want. Whatever works best for you, whatever, makes sense to you, go for it. I'm not here to convince you otherwise. But what I can tell you is from experience, from literal evidence that I've seen throughout the last 8+ years of my life, those who do have a higher power in their life do better than those who don't. That's just a fact. That's just a fact based off of observations that I've made over 8+ years. That's a pretty significant amount of time to make observations and to come to that determination. So long story short, so I'm going to cut the video in just a minute here. Stay open-minded. Stay willing. Practice humility so that you can be honest with yourself, so that you don't have this huge inflated ego telling you that everything's all right when it's not. Take that honest self-assessment so that you know where you are and so you know what you need to work on. Get out of your comfort zone consistently on a regular basis to achieve growth within yourself. Stick with it. Stay determined. Continue to persevere because life is still going to happen. But keep the right company. Have the right people around you so that when life does come at you, you have someone you can lean on. You have someone you can turn to. You have someone that can give you that direction and that suggestion that is desperately needed. And don't give up. They say play the tape through when you're you're getting ready to relapse or you're contemplating relapse. They'll tell you play the tape through, right? Play the tape through. They're talking about, for you youngins out there, you probably don't even know what a cassette tape is. But they're talking about playing through the rest of what is going to happen after you take that hit, right? The other thing you should do, though, is turn it over, flip it to side B, and play the tape through another way. What happens if you don't take that hit? How is your life going to continue to look if you stay on the right path? What are you going to be able to accomplish? And I'll tell you right now, the answer to that question is anything you effing want to. The only thing that you're not able to accomplish is going to be determined by your age. What I mean by that is, I'm 39 years old. I probably can't be an astronaut anymore. All right? That's just come and gone. I played baseball for almost 20 years, but my time has come and gone to be a professional baseball player. That's not going to happen. I understand that. That doesn't mean that you can't chase other goals and aspirations. You can't go get a degree. You can't start your own business. You can do any of those things. And now that drugs and alcohol are out of the way and you no longer have that obstacle to overcome, sky is the limit. Dream big, have huge goals. In fact, it's necessary to have huge goals. You need something that gives you direction every single morning that you wake up. You need something to continue working on a daily basis. And why do you think I made this freaking channel? This is something that I love doing first and foremost. It's my passion, is working with people in recovery. And this is, in some way, shape, or form, exactly that. Why do you think I opened an outpatient treatment center? It was so I could continue working with people in recovery. Why do you think I sponsor people? It's so I can continue working with people in recovery. Why do you think I created the company YourRecoveryMentor.com? It's so I can continue working with people in recovery. That's my mission in life. That is what I love to do. And there is nothing more rewarding than seeing someone who is completely broken, just shattered beyond any recognition. Okay? Some might call it FUBAR. And watching them start to put the pieces back together so that they could achieve a life beyond their wildest dreams, a life they never thought possible. And then there's this magical moment that happens. And when you start working with people in recovery, you'll see this too. There's this moment that happens when it's like the light got switched on. They've gone through this transformation. You know, instead of standing around and avoiding everyone and isolating and having the hoodie up, all of a sudden the hoodie comes down. And you see him smiling. And it's not some forced fake smile, it's a real smile. You hear him laughing. And it's not some fake forced laugh, it's a real laugh. You can see that they're actually enjoying life again. And they're enjoying life without the use of drugs and alcohol. And they're actually happy again. And they actually feel like they're worth a damn. That they have value again. Without needing to hear that from someone else. That right there is absolutely amazing. Good. That right there is absolutely amazing. To be able to witness that. And to be able to say to yourself, I had a small piece to play in that. You know, I contributed to that. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. It's almost like being addicted to it, to be honest with you. To get that spiritual high, that emotional high that comes from helping someone else out. You know, they're nothing like it. They're nothing like it. It's the most rewarding thing I've ever done with my life. And to go from being a hope to die dope fiend who was addicted to pain pills and heroin and benzodiazepines, to the person I am today, who I at least believe is an excellent husband, an even better father, a business owner whose employees respect him. And I get to do what I love on a daily basis. They don't get much better than that. And here's the good news. The good news is there's nothing that separates me from you. There's no special ingredient or special skill set or something I was born with that allows me to be in the position that I'm in. You know, this is the last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to end the video. I've been asked before, do you feel like you deserve the life that you have today? Because my life is pretty amazing, I'm not going to lie. I have a pretty amazing life. I have an amazing wife, I have amazing children, I get to do what I love. Do you deserve it? And my answer to that, you know, and I had to think about it for a while, but my answer to that is no. If you want my honest opinion, do I deserve it? With all the shit that I've done, with all the people I've hurt? No. I don't feel like I deserve this life. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe I do deserve it. But I will tell you this. If you ask me, have you earned it? Have you earned the life that you have today? The answer to that is 100,000% yes. I have put in the work and the effort to create the life that I have today. I have earned the life that I have today by the work that I've done. And that's okay with me. That is something I can live with. Even though I don't believe I deserve it, you best believe that I damn well earned it. And you can earn it too. You can absolutely earn it too. There's nothing in your way but you. And when you understand that, when you come to the understanding that the only person in your way is yourself, you start to see things differently. Because realistically, the only person standing in your way is you. Are you willing to actually drop the ego? Are you willing to be less selfish and self-centered? Are you willing to listen to others? Are you willing to admit that you don't have all the answers, but you're willing to learn? You're willing to be coachable and teachable. If you can do everything that I just said in this video, you'll have an excellent chance of success, way beyond what the statistics say, just by doing what I've told you to do in this video. I bet everything, anything, that if you just do everything that I just suggested in this video, you'll have, I would say, honestly, you want me to be honest? I'd say you have a 90% chance at achieving long-term recovery if you do everything I just said in this video. That's really what it boils down to. Again, it's a simple program for complicated people. Some are more sicker than others and some are more complicated than others. But at the end of the day, anyone can do this. Anyone can. I've seen people who I didn't think had a chance in hell. Now they got years. I've seen people who I thought, they got this. They're going to do this. They don't make it to another 30 days after they leave our program. At the end of the day, the ball is in your court. You get to decide what you're going to do with your life. You get to decide the outcome. That's the cool part about this program, is you're in charge. You get to make the decisions. What decision are you going to make? That's your call. So think about that. Think about what your next step's going to be. Because it's up to you. At all times, it's always been up to you. No one else can affect your recovery but you. All right, everyone. God bless each and every one of you. If nobody's told you they love you today, I love you. I get nothing but love for you. I hope nothing but the best for you. You can do this. You are worth it. You are worthy. And keep pushing. Keep pressing. Keep moving forward. It's a never-ending fight that we're fighting. But we have no excuse to give up this fight. And you got people like me and tons of people all around you that if you're willing and ready to allow them to help you, they're ready to help. Just ask. One of the most courageous things that you can do is ask for help. It's not a weakness, it's a strength. Ask for help. Until the next video, peace out.